Caleb here with Fantasy Tomorrow, coming at you for Week 9 waiver wires. We're here to help you guys get a leg up on the competition by knowing who you should be picking up off the waiver wire this week. So Caleb, let's just start with some information you need to know. Who has a bye week in Week 9?
So the Bengals, the Browns, the Rams, and the Eagles all have bye weeks this week. So players such as Jared Goff, Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt, all players like that, Carson Wentz, Miles Sanders, none of them are going to be playing this upcoming week, so we'll need to find replacements for them.
For sure. Those are all very well-known players. What QBs are you considering solid streaming options for Week 9?
Yeah, so there's a few really good ones that are all solid streamers. My favorite streamer for this week is actually Drew Lock. He's the quarterback for the Denver Broncos, of course. A lot of us know him, especially in Missouri, because he played high school football in Lee Summit, Missouri. He's a native to Kansas City area, so he's got that going for him. But now he plays for the Broncos. But what he did this past week against the Chargers was really surprising. He led a comeback. They trailed by quite a few points, and they were able to come back and win that game against the Chargers. And I think they're going to continue to carry over some of that momentum from that game into this week's game against the Falcons. Now, the Falcons have a really bad pass defense that can definitely be taken advantage of by various offenses. And I think Drew Lock has the skills and the weapons in order to do this, in order to keep rolling and to provide a good week fantasy-wise for your team. Now, Derek Carr, another AFC West quarterback, also has a good matchup going up against the Chargers. Now, I think that Carr has been actually a lot better this year than what some people would say. Now, I don't like saying that because I'm not a Raiders fan. Obviously, I'm a Chiefs fan. So saying anything positive about the Raiders is painful. But Carr has been actually pretty good this year, at least in fantasy terms. And I think he's a consistent quarterback that can score you a good amount of points and be a very solid starter for you if you need a streamer this week. And then the last one I'll throw out here is Kirk Cousins, quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, he's playing up against the Lions this upcoming week. The Lions just allowed 41 points to the Colts. Phillip Rivers had a really good game against the Lions, and I think that Kirk Cousins has the tools needed to produce against the Lions as well. Of course, they have a couple of really good pass catchers in Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I think that both of them are going to do well in this game, and I think Cousins is a really good streaming option if you need him.
Yeah, he's right about Drew Lock, though. When I lived in Kansas City and worked at a pizza bar, the Denver Broncos games and the Chiefs games were probably our most popular because everyone wanted to come watch the Chiefs, obviously, but then everyone was super excited to watch Drew Lock play as well, so that was always fun. Which running backs have a big upside and are worthy of a pickup this week?
So there's a few. We'll start with Zach Moss. Now, I told you last week to go and pick up Zach Moss. Of course, he plays for the Buffalo Bills. And he actually had a really good week this past week. He scored a couple of touchdowns, and he just looked really good against the Patriots. I think that he's the best running back in the Buffalo Bills backfield. I think he's going to continue to steal away carries from Devin Singletary and see his role increase in the Bills' offense. So if Moss is available in your league, you have to go and pick him up. Now, secondly, I think you should also pick up J.K. Dobbins. He's running back for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Mark Ingram, their main running back, had to sit out this past game with an injury, and this really opened the way for Dobbins to get an increase in touches. He split carries with Gus Edwards, but Dobbins looked like the superior runner. He looked really good, so if he's available, he's worthy to grab as well and can be started as long as Ingram is out with injury. Now, Malcolm Brown is somebody else that could see his role increase due to injury. His teammate Darrell Henderson got hurt, and Brown saw most of the work afterwards. Now, they don't play, the Rams, of course, they don't play in Week 9, but he's worthy of grabbing and stashing on your bench just in case Henderson's injury lingers for a bit and he has to miss time. And the same could be said about their teammate Cam Akers as well. He saw an increase in touches after Darrell Henderson went out as well. And I think that he also has a little bit more upside than Brown, but he probably doesn't have the same floor as him. His floor is a little bit lower, so you can grab and stash him as well. Now, Damian Harris for the New England Patriots, he also did really well this last week. He's available in most leagues for you to go out and pick up, but get this, so Damian Harris has 2 games of over 100 yards rushing, but he's only played in 4 games, so in half of his games, he has over 100 yards rushing. That's really good. And as long as Tony Michel, his teammate, is out with injury, I think Damian Harris is someone that you can start in your flex spot and feel pretty comfortable about it. Now, Nyheim Hines had a really big game for the Indianapolis Colts. He caught a touchdown pass and looked really, really good in that Colts passing game. In fact, he might be Phillip Rivers' favorite target, as Phillip Rivers likes to check down the ball a lot. So Nyheim Hines is someone that could be a really good flex option, especially in deeper leagues. Really solid player there. Now, DJ Dallas for Seattle, he also saw quite a bit of work in that Seattle backfield since Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde were both out with injury. He's worthy of a pickup if he hasn't already owned in your league, because if Carson and Hyde continue to have to miss time, it seems like the Seahawks are pretty comfortable with letting Dallas get most of the work. And finally, I'll mention Jordan Wilkins. Of course, he plays with Indianapolis Colts. He's Nyheim Hines' teammate. But what's interesting here is that Wilkins actually out-touched both Hines and their teammate Jonathan Taylor. Wilkins got the bulk of the work in the Indianapolis Colts backfield. I don't think that's going to continue. It seems like Jonathan Taylor was a bit nicked up in that game, and that's why Wilkins was getting a bit of the work. But I think that he's worthy of a stash just in case this injury to Taylor lingers, and just in case Indianapolis decides that they like Wilkins better and they might keep running him out there. So worthy of a pickup in a stash.
Okay, guys, so there's your running backs. Caleb, are there any wide receivers that are worthy of a pickup for Week 9?
Yeah, of course. So there's Corey Davis for the Tennessee Titans. He's really becoming a reliable wide receiver 3. He should be owned in every league. So then also Mike Williams, wide receiver for the Chargers. He has just been doing really good. He had a touchdown this last week, and really he has so much upside just because Justin Herbert has been really airing out the ball for that Chargers offense. And as long as they're throwing the ball consistently, Williams is going to have a role. He's a big boom/bust player. Now, David Moore is very similar to Mike Williams, but of course he plays for the Seattle Seahawks. He has Russell Wilson throwing him the ball. And because of that, he's going to have big play upside as well. You never know when Moore is going to catch a long touchdown and just absolutely kill it for your league. So I think he's a worthy stash as well. Same with Mecole Hardman. Same type of deal. He has so much talent and a lot of just explosive tendencies. I think that he could absolutely explode one week and win you your matchup in that week. So he's definitely worthy of a stash. Not to mention, Hardman's seen his role kind of increase with the Chiefs as the season's progressing. So definitely worthy of keeping an eye on and potentially grabbing and stashing on your bench. Now, a couple of other players I think are really good. One is Kendrick Bourne for the San Francisco 49ers. It's a little bit of a deeper league grab, but he seems to really have good chemistry with quarterback Nick Mullins. And it seems like Jimmy Garoppolo, the main quarterback for the 49ers, well, he's not playing very well, not to mention he's kind of injured. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Mullins starts maybe the next game or two. And if he's starting, I would grab Bourne. I think he's a good player who really seems to have a connection with him. Marvin Jones is actually benefiting from an injury to Kenny Golladay. He had a really good week this past week. I think he caught 2 touchdowns. And I think that Marvin Jones is someone that can be started as well. As long as Kenny Golladay is out, I think you kind of have to start Marvin Jones for the Lions. And lastly, Jalen Reagor for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's finally coming back from an injury that's kept him out for most of the season, but he performed really well against the Cowboys, and I think he's going to see his role only increase for the Eagles offense. I think Jalen Reagor has some high upside and should be grabbed if he's out there on waivers.
And now time for my favorite position. Are there any tight ends we should be looking at for Week 9? Besides Travis Kelce, obviously. We should always look at him.
Yeah, so unfortunately Kelsey's probably owned in just about every league, but that's probably a good thing. But the ones that might be available now, tight end's a very bleak position. There's not a whole lot of good stuff going on with tight ends. It's very top-heavy in that there's about 5 good tight ends that you can count on every week. And then after that, it's kind of just, a dart throw. One tight end I do think is a borderline starter and is available in a lot of leagues is Eric Ebron for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's someone who Big Ben likes throwing to in the middle of the field, and he's someone that could turn into a red zone option for the Steelers. So definitely some upside there. And then and this is kind of weird, but you could just pick any of the 3 Colts tight ends, and any of them could have a good day. My favorite Colts tight end is Trey Burton. It seems like he's kind of might be Phillip Rivers' favorite, but it's just hard to tell. So that's Mo Alley Cox, Trey Burton, and Jack Doyle. They are all seeing quite a bit of usage, and if you wanted to just put all their names in a hat and then just pick one, you could do that, because you have a good chance that one of them is going to produce, because Phillip Rivers loves passing to his tight ends, but again, kind of a dart throw, so you You never really know.
And we all know that you like to change up defenses weekly, so what defenses should we be targeting for Week 9?
So one is the Titans. They don't have a really great defense right now. They've been struggling there, but they do have a good matchup coming up in Week 9. They're playing against the Bears. Now the Bears, we know, they don't have an explosive offense. They're quarterbacked by Nick Foles, and one thing that Nick Foles does a lot is actually turn the ball over. Now, whenever you turn the ball over, that means that your fantasy defense is going to get points. So I think that's going to happen quite a bit this upcoming week. You can count on a turnover or two for the Bears, which means that the Titans are going to be getting some points, and I think that they're a defense that you can very much start and feel comfortable with. As are the Washington football team's defense. Now, they're coming off of a bye week. That means they're well rested. They've had a little bit extra time to prepare for this matchup against the Giants, and the Giants are a very turnover-happy team. Daniel Jones is constantly turning the ball over, constantly getting sacks and taking hits. And I think that's a good thing for the Washington football team. I think they are a really good option to stream. They're underrated. They're likely available in your league. So go pick them up and feel really comfortable with streaming the Washington football team's defense.
Speaking of the Titans, I saw your tweet this morning and laughed so hard about them and the Bengals. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you're really missing out by not following our social medias on Twitter. So go do that. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Caleb and I love talking to you guys and coming out here and doing this each week. So just let us know that you guys are loving it too, okay? With that being said, my name's Jaden. That's Caleb. We're going to get rid of him and throw a recap up for you guys and let you know that this is Fantasy Tomorrow, where we're giving you the information to learn today and win tomorrow. See you guys next week.